It's been quite a while since I've done one of these. A few weeks. And things have settled down a lot. I am on the cusp of going back home. Last week, the psychiatrist here said I could have gone that day, on Tuesday, just gone. But there's things I want to sort out and so on and so forth. And things have been going really well, really well. Getting on with people here, great. Just doing the thing, stopping in here most of the time, just chilling out. Minimal, if any, shenanigans. Minimal, if any, druggings of any significance. Just getting on with stuff. And preparing for going back home. I wasn't going to do one of these because I've ordered some stuff to make the videos look better, to just do things a bit in a way that I want to just faff about like. But yeah, they've sort of got me. I've said that I won't be going to D Block again, the psychiatric unit in my hometown. Even though they'll probably try to coax me to go back there, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to go there, sort of thing. I didn't want any care coordinator or anything, but I thought it was an okay compromise to make. Even though any concerns they'd have are really concerns that they've brought about and so on and so forth, when you look at it comprehensively, sort of thing, and take a step back. So yeah, this week I'll be going home. I've got a load of massive bags to take all the junk that I've assembled while I've been here for 10.5 weeks nearly. And like I say, I wasn't going to do one of these. I've got a load of kit coming over that I've ordered. And looking forward to getting hold of that. But I thought I'd quickly knock one out because this week I will be going. I might not get another chance to do one of these. So yeah, everything going brilliantly, getting on with loads of people really well. And the druggings and the shenanigans, what do you know? Just gradually just disappeared. There weren't any more of them until today. It was nothing major anyway, but I was just online and so on and so forth, and you get this type of stuff. The type of stuff you get going on the telly, which is just like nothing to write home about, and then you get the druggings and so on and so forth, and then shenanigans off the back of that round here. No, it's just all. But I'd sort of realised quite a while ago that there seemed to be a pattern back then. I don't know if that's a pattern now, but there seemed to be a pattern back then, going back a few weeks, for a long time. In the the powers that be would sort of hold off the druggings and the shenanigans a bit, just take the pace off, sort of thing, to lull you into a false sense of security, and then like as I've sort of mentioned with epilogue druggings and stuff like that in the past. But anyway, and to give credit to the psychiatrists, they haven't been overly assertive, let's put it that way, in any way, to me, having my version of events. They've sort of accepted it. Now, going back years, people used to have quite interesting reactions to me saying, I want to know what the fuck's going on here. Not because I'd want to know what was going on with the likes of the architects, bringing them up again, even though I couldn't give a shit. But interesting reactions to that. But the reason I had to know that stuff about what had been going on, even though I knew the bulk of it, leading up to 2000, it seemed, was that it assumed a power over me that sort of crept in to the local institutions and beyond, as we now know. And when there's that amount of power over you, including people loving the amount of power they had over me at the time, going back all those years, which is sort of a similar power to what those people have got now. And before I came back in these places, before I was given my awareness back, if you like, and then coming here and sort of, figuring out quite a few things that I needed to figure out in order to just like, get a grip of it, sort of thing. So I've read this book. It's important to take the piss out of problems. Like, for example, propaganda. Problem. Amateur dramatics I see all over the time. Problem. People trying to write stories around me. Problem. All needs to be taken the piss out of to put it in its place, sort of thing. Because that's a way of, there's sort of a thing going on where people try to put you in your place, and what they see as your place, or test it out or whatever, off the back of propaganda requirements and amateur dramatics and so on and so forth. You then take the piss out of that, and it sort of, never seems to come to an end. But yeah, having that, I used to say back in 2000, I think it was, knowledge is power. When you're in that situation, when such tacky gossip is given a legitimacy by institutions, when it's got to that level of power, the power that can be exercised over you, that basically is formulated by a bunch of people in the community, and not always in with altruistic intentions. You do need to know that stuff so you can make your own mind up about things. So you can decide, sort of thing. Because if you don't have that, you can end up with like the type of stories you read in the press about people going off on one because the pressure they can't. Because if you don't give people a coherent, realistic depiction of the world as it is, then they're left floundering. You do have people like the type I got in the lead up to 2000 who couldn't believe it, who couldn't believe the type of power they had over me at the time. But anyway, that was then, this is now, and things have gradually calmed down over time here, right? And I'm getting on with people really well here now. When I had this meeting with the psychiatrist on Tuesday, they didn't say anything about, they sort of, queried one or two things, but didn't really stop me from having my version of events, which I think is important for people to have that. And that's done me a lot of good. That has done me a lot of good, because not only did what I read say you've got to take the piss out of the problem, which I just said what the problems were, but you've also got to work it out, you've got to figure it out, sort of thing. That's where the information comes in. Now, the way this was started with third-party information, a bunch of gossips, the architects and there on in, that wasn't allowed to take place. Which I think is interesting as well. Well, it was interesting at one time anyway. But yeah, and things have been going great on the ward though, really, really well for a long time. I've come down with this cold bug. It's been going around the ward. This lad going around sneezing and dribbling over everyone, and I came down with a bit of it for about 3 days. It's pretty much gone now, It slowed me down, that cold, as well as other things too. So quite a few things have come together to make it the case that I can go home now this coming week after 10.5 weeks. Crazy. But yeah, like I said, they haven't, credit where credit's due. They haven't stopped me from having my version of events. They have got me, like I said, the compromise I've had to make is that I have someone from the local psychiatric unit have involvement with someone like that will come round to the flat, or will speak to me over video conferencing or whatever. I'd actually prefer video conferencing, I think. Not sure, I'll have to think about it. But yeah. So yeah, apart from, there's been quite a break from the shenanigans and the druggings. So I was quite surprised when today that came. Even I thought, hey up. Then I just didn't. But then I didn't think, oh, this ain't going to go anywhere or whatever. Didn't really pay much attention. But then the druggings come in and so on and so forth. And it's back to those old habits that they've got. I suppose it's difficult to give up on. I hope it don't go like that when I'm back at the flat. If I do see people out and about, I'm a bit reluctant to strike up a conversation with people. I am looking forward to reclusiveness. I did look up the term hermit. I used to use that term a lot, but it's too linked to religion. So reclusiveness is the way for me to go. I don't mind exchanging pleasantries, but anything beyond that is just can be a bit of an imposition, especially when there are such requirements as was in Worcester a while back around propaganda drives and amateur dramatics. May be the case, may not be the case in Kidderminster, so I don't know. But let's hope for the best. The way things have gone, the trend, I'm not gonna bloody stop, losing the rag over a few shenanigans and druggings today. It took place, and that's that. It didn't last that long, a couple of hours for the shenanigans and druggings to be implemented, but it didn't last too long in total. And yeah, looking forward to going back. Not apprehensive earlier on in the day, but maybe this is a consequence of the druggings, the shenanigans, having to work out my system, that I'm feeling a little bit apprehensive about it now. But fingers crossed there aren't the shenanigans, fingers crossed there aren't the druggings. I won't be going back to the telly for quite a while, if ever. I'm not... I'd much rather go online, but then again, I was online today when some of the shenanigans took place. Even though it was nothing major, it's sort of a hint, might that, be the sign of things to come. It's just, not just the shenanigans, but the druggings off the back of it. The shenanigans are nothing, but the druggings can be quite a challenge and quite something to have to just let it eke out, sort of thing. But yeah, I've got plenty to do that I'm interested in. My new kit will be coming for doing videos and loads of books to read and stuff. Loads to do. I've got to start getting fit a bit, not too much, nothing too heavy. Just a bit of stretching and a little bit of strength work, nothing too strenuous. That's it, 10.5 weeks, bloody hell. Off the back of today's shenanigans and druggings, might there be more of that this week, who knows. But if there is, there is. If there ain't, there's not fat lot I can do about it. It's like, I've my version of events is the amalgam years took place, the architects should have been dealt with, they wouldn't be now, and they're probably living their lives somewhere and whatever, and That's up to them already. I'm not interested. But yeah, for me, it's what do I do now? I've got a bit of a plan in place, but we'll see. Anyway, the next one of these I'll probably do will be when I'm back at the flat. So I'll see you then.